Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in a different time zone around the world and across the country. It's Thursday, it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast, it's Friday morning, 1 a.m. in London, and it's 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. By the way, that's where they're having breakfast right now. Everybody there is up and at 'em. And so we invite them to string along with us. You're going to work, you're headed there, or you may be there right now. Stay with us for the next hour. My name is Frank Allan. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and we're with you for the next hour. And the purpose of the show is to get everybody involved in it, in conversation. We're here live, so you can talk to me as I talk to you. Anything that you want to put out there, I throw out a conversation, and then all you have to do is chime in. Whatever you want to talk about, just type it in there. I'll see you right there on the big screen. And I will entertain your thoughts and your ideas and your questions or whatever. And other people may come in, they want to talk, and you can talk to them as they talk to me and I talk to you. So it's verbal all the way around. And of course, we have all kinds of information coming along with us. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. If you're just joining us for the very first time, we thank you so much for being here. And of course, we want you to continue to be with us each week at this time. Make us your weekly habit. And all you have to do for us to just join in. You don't need a union card, no kind of representation or any sort, just drop in every week. And of course, we're all around the world, so wherever you go, you can't miss us because we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube and Instagram as well. So you can choose whatever you want and you can be right with us. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can tag this show right now as we speak. Since we're live, you can tag it as we speak to all of your friends out there. You didn't know that, right? You can tag this show right now so they can get the information and they'll join us as well and possibly become part of us, and they can chime in conversation as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, one of the things I talk about YouTube is that you're watching us on YouTube. I always urge you to go onto our YouTube channel and subscribe to us. You don't have to pay anything, just subscribe. Just all you have to do is press that little button where it says subscribe, and you're right there. Because when you subscribe, anytime we go on live of any sort, or if we so much as post a video or whatever it is, you will be informed. You'll have that notification popped up on your screen, and you can go right there, and that'll let us know that we're right there for you. So there you go. And those of you who are watching us on Instagram, well, you already know what to do. You tell your friends about it. You're on Instagram, we pop up anyway. So just keep following us, right? And of course, we'll take care of business right throughout the hour. Excuse me, I just had a little frog in my throat. So Froggy, get out of there. Later on in the program, we are going to do as usual. It's not too far away, as a matter of fact. Brian Camp will be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. That's the name of his part of the show. And he's going to be here. And we look forward to hearing what's going on in the sports world. We're going to talk about those Yankees too. They're dear to my heart. See what he has to say about them. And of course, he'll have all kinds of other sports information that's coming up too. We'll also have later on in the program, we'll have that information for those of you who like those Turner Classic movies, those movies. Now I have a pick each week. I have picks of the movies. I can't pick them all. They're just too many, Turner Classic movies, but I have a pick of the week. I like to say the pick of the week for the weekend, because your weekend is coming up, right? We'll have those for you. And I don't know how many we have. I have to check along how many we have for this week, but it's just my pick of the week. And then also we're going to have this day in history. We'll have all of that coming for you, and it's coming down right here, and it's right here on Talk Back Live. Thank you guys for being along with us. I see a lot of people coming in. A lot of you are idle. That's okay. You don't want to say anything. That's okay. A lot of you are idle, and that's good. But as long as you're there, that's the most important thing. All of you guys coming in here on Instagram too, thank you so much. Well, we've got a big weekend coming up, right? A long weekend, I may say. So you don't have to worry about, well, maybe not all of you, but the most of you, the majority of you, may not have to worry about going back to work on Monday because it's Memorial Day. It's the Memorial Day holiday weekend that's coming up. Now, what are you going to do with the Memorial Day holiday weekend? I don't know. That's strictly up to you. That is strictly up to you. But it's an event where we celebrate our men and women in the armed forces who have stuck their butts out for us and did their job. And this is the time where we can thank them for their services and thank you for doing what you do and continue to do what you do to protect us all of the Americans, all the way, right? So that's happening. So Memorial Day is this coming Monday, all right? So we have a long weekend coming up. And while we're at it, I might as well mention the fact that it's Fleet Week here in the United States, right? And Fleet Week. And of course, all of the armed forces, they dock. The sailors, they dock. They dock here in New York, and I don't know elsewhere, wherever you are across the country, you know, maybe they dock over there where you are somehow. But anyway, what they do is they dock, and they're here for the whole week. They're here for the whole week. They just docked in, I think, just yesterday, right? And they're going to be here to the 31st. So if you're around the New York area, you go through Times Square or all of those places, and especially those of you who are tourists, you'll get to see all of the sailors and all of the other military guys who come through, and you might even want to take pictures with them, selfies or whatever. Well, they're going to be here for the whole week, and you might see them in your local restaurants and bars. They're just here to take a break. They're here. That's basically what they do. It's Fleet Week. They're taking a break here in New York, and they're going to be all over the country. Last year, they were all over. Now, last night, which, like I said yesterday, they docked in yesterday, but last night, a lot of them were at Yankee Stadium when the ball game was on. The Yankees were in New York. They're not in New York tonight. They're in Florida tonight. But they were in New York last night, and you could see a camera pointed to all of the sailors, all of the people who came to the ball game, and they were out there in the stands rooting for the Yankees. I'm kind of wondering if they got the perks, and it's only right if they did, of coming to the stadium just as a guest of the New York Yankees. You know, that I don't know how that works. I don't know whether or not they pay their own admission or the Yankees invite them knowing that it's Fleet Week. But anyway, that's what it is. So we've got a lot to celebrate as they come in with Fleet Week. Of course, you already know that's connected with Memorial Day and a Memorial Day holiday weekend. And a lot of you are going to take the time on barbecuing on Memorial Day. You know, that's basically what people do, but that's not really how it's really celebrated. But to each his own. But make sure if you see a serviceman or a servicewoman, make sure give them thanks. Thank them for their service. I do it all the time. Here in New York, they're here all the time because, you know, they're always guarding. Like if you're walking through Grand Central, right? They're always there. The Marines, those are the tough guys, the Marines. And they're always there guarding, you know, making sure they're on post, making sure everybody's safe and sound. And that's what they do. So they're going to be here. Just thank them. And I just want to thank you guys in advance. If you're watching us right now, thank you so much in advance for what you do in your service. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, getting that out of the way. So there we go. If you're just joining us, it's the Talk Back Live. The name of the show is, that's what it is. And it's 10 minutes past the hour right now. I'm sorry, it's 9 minutes past the hour. We're pushing out an hour, a minute forward. No, I don't want to do that. It's 9 minutes past the hour. And of course, like I said before, as you joined us, we're going to be here for the entire hour right here on Talk Back Live. Let's see. Okay, we got Memorial Day. That's all out of the way now, all of that, all right. As I go down the line, I see we've got a little bad news. I don't know if you heard it or not early today. It just came out. It was just released today because It happened today. Actor Ray Liotta has passed away at the age of 67. Now, you always know Liotta, known for his role as a mobster as Henry Hill in the 1990 film Goodfellas. All right, that should ring a bell, right? And he died in a sleep in the Dominican Republic, where he was filming a thriller called Dangerous Waters. We're going to find out more about that and, you know, how far they went into that production. But he passed away last night, and he's survived by his daughter, actress Carson Liotta, his fiancee Jackie Natito, and his ex-wife Michelle Grace. And it was a shocking thing to hear about. He was only 67 years old, you know, and they didn't say, you know, what the causes are. So I'm just guessing, you know, he fell asleep and just didn't wake up. I'm just guessing it was natural causes. So I just wanted to put that out there. But of course, a lot of you already know about that. You already know about that, right? So we got that going for you. And of course, here's another piece of news. Those of you, raise your hand if you like Ellen DeGeneres. I got my hands up. I love Ellen DeGeneres. She's a great comedian. She is saying bye-bye to her show. Ellen DeGeneres, she bids a tearful farewell. She did today at her daytime show, as you already know. Today, the show is off the air, you know, and it's going to be the time slot that she's in now, wherever she is, I think is on NBC. The time slot that she's in now, it's now going to go to Kelly Clarkson, because you already know Kelly Clarkson has her own show. So that time slot is going to go to her. Now, on the show, they did little clippings on from the beginning of the show to, you know, whatever. And they were showing clips, and she even had Jennifer Aniston, as I heard, on the show. And Jennifer Aniston was one of the first people on the very first show. And so it's just ironic that she just comes on to the farewell show. She said that forever changed her life. This show forever changed her life. Now, they didn't talk about the controversy. I'm pretty sure you heard about all of the controversy about Ellen's show and the producers and the people behind the scenes. I've heard a lot about it. I read these things, I hear about it. I never take it to heart because you don't really know. You know, you only go about hearsay. Now, they didn't mention any of that on the show. And I'm pretty sure you've heard all about it, right? Heard all about it, that, you know, some of the producers, especially some of the African-American producers were ostracized by some of the producers, the Caucasian producers, and there's a whole big story. I don't know how true these stories are. And some of the, they had a lot of racial slurs in the back seat of the show, you know, behind the scenes or whatever. So they didn't mention any of that. And they didn't mention why they were taking the show off the air. They didn't mention that either. So we don't know. We don't know. I don't know if it's ratings. I can't imagine bad ratings, you know, because she was very popular with that show. And she also mentioned the fact when she started the show, she couldn't even mention the word gay, being gay, or she couldn't even mention her wife, even the fact that she was married, or that she is married. She couldn't even mention that. And as you know, she's been married to, I think her name is, Portia de Rossi. And they've been together for years now. And of course, Portia is also an actress. You probably remember her. She was one of the cast members on Ally McBeal. I don't know if she's still active today in her art, but back then she was. So yeah, those two are married. And but you gotta remember, Ellen DeGeneres came out long before this show, before she had this daytime show. She came out during when she had that sitcom. That's when she came out, you know, and people didn't know. people, she was one of the first comedians to come out of the closet. She was one of the first comedians, I understand, that came out, and then people just followed suit. So, but again, even though she came out a long time ago, it was never mentioned on the daytime show that she had, because in the beginning, I mean, later on, sure, she was able to talk about these things, but when she first started the show, she wasn't able to do that. I couldn't understand why, because she already came out long before she had the daytime show. So anyway, whatever the deal is with Ellen DeGeneres, whether, I don't know, again, I don't know why the show is going off the air. I don't know if it's her choice or they canceling the show for whatever reason. I don't know. But she did say you didn't hear the last from her, and I believe that. And I'm pretty sure, Ellen DeGeneres has a lot of other things in the back burner, in the background, waiting to come out, so you could see what she's going to be doing in the future. So it looks like she's got the future all ready and set and ready to go. And I wish her well. I like her. Again, I'm not gonna, spark on anything about the controversy, about what happened on the show. We'll save that if she wants to come out with that later on, or because some of the producers or some of the former producers that once worked with her at one particular time came out with, different, I don't know, came out with certain things, just wondering, so, we're not going to elaborate on that too much, but I do want to wish Ellen DeGeneres the very best, and we look forward to seeing her wherever she comes around again. Okay, we're going to get off with that, and we're going to go to Charlotte, North Carolina right now, because Brian Camp is here with the latest developments in today's world of sports and sports update. And I guess you already heard what I said about Ellen DeGeneres. She's leaving her show, right? You heard about that?
Yeah, today, I believe today was her last episode. Yeah. I believe. I didn't catch it. I just overheard it on the television when I was in my office. So yeah, she's out. She's leaving. I'm pretty sure she's going to bounce back because she's very talented, very good entertainer, and that was a pretty good show that she had there for a long while and everything,
Yeah.
So I mean, it's sad, but then again, we're happy for her because she's going to go and do something else, because she's the type of person that will bounce back and do something else. So, but congratulations for her for doing this for a long period of time.
Onward and upward. Someone once told me that one time, a long time ago.
Yes.
Onward and upward.
Absolutely, yes. So, but good evening to you all out there. It is on watching Zoom and Facebook Live and Instagram and whatever else you are watching on around the world. It's been a trying week, and I'm just shaking my head. You see me shaking my head. I'm still shaking my head for what happened in Texas a couple of days ago. It's just so hard to try to digest this, because it still turns into politics. It still turns into politics. Me personally, I'm going to get to the sports in a second, but I just got to talk about this. I just need to just get, I'm just so sick and tired of politics. I really am. I just attacked a guy I used to work with, knew him for over 30 years, and he's a devoted, diehard Republican, and loved Trump this and loved Trump that. And he, goes on his post, and he just ranted on about the Democrats and this. And I just couldn't help myself. I just went off. I just said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Are you kidding me?" Here it is. We just lost 19 children, 2 adults. And this is what you come up with that comes out of your mouth. I said, "I'm sick and tired of you and your Republicans and all your fan base." And I'm, I told him straight out, this is not the time for it. Here it is. Me personally, I'm getting sick of the Republicans. I am, and I'm getting sick of the Democrats too. Yes, indeed, I'm getting sick of them too. Joe Biden is a one-term president. I said that when he defeated Donald Trump. I predicted that Donald Trump was going to be a one-term president, and I'm going to predict that Joe Biden is going to be a one-term president. But here we are. We have 50 senators sitting up in Washington that can't sign a damn gun bill because they want to protect, they just want to protect their seat in office, in Congress. That's all they worry about, is just protecting their seat. We've been betrayed by our government. We've been betrayed by the people that we voted in. And this is what they do to us. This is just outrageous, outrageous. 19, that's all I think about is 19 children, innocent children, no more than 10 years old, lost their lives, slaughtered over guns that they cannot come together. Guns. I just read something earlier today. 90% Americans want guns off the street. But there's that few people in Washington. The people in Washington, the majority are Republicans, don't want the guns off the street, because in certain states that are Republican states, that's where these gun dealers, they make their money. They make their money. And it's sad. It is really sad. And I'm going to pray for, we all need to pray for the victims and the 2 adults, children who lost their lives. And then I just found out that one of the teachers that died, that was killed, her husband died today from a heart attack. So that child not only lost their mother, but they lost their father too. One of the teachers got killed. It was a lady teacher. Today, her husband was overwhelmed. He died of a heart attack. So whoever that child is loses both parents within 24 hours, or 48 hours. I'm gonna let that marinate. Yeah. But
I'm gonna be expanding more on it, before the show is over myself.
Yes. It is 77 degrees out here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's 100% chance of rain. Nice weather, but it's temperature-wise, but it is raining. We had a hurricane watch that's still on alert for the rest of the night. But there's not much to talk about in sports, but let me get to the sports. In the NFL, Colin Kaepernick, who last played professional football in 2016, the year that he started kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial injustice, is scheduled to work out on Wednesday. That was yesterday, for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Raiders owners Mark Davis is following in the spirit of his late father, Al Davis, who was one of the founders of the AFL, who provided many opportunities, such as for hiring the first NFL Black coach, Art Shell, and the first woman chief executive, Amy Trask, in this modern era. He also was the first owner to draft a Black quarterback in the first round, and the second owner to hire a Hispanic head coach in Tom Flores. So yes, Mark Davis is following his father's footsteps. Kudos to him. All Colin Kaepernick wants to do is to get a fair chance. That's all he wants. He wants a fair tryout, get a fair chance. And, he's entitled to that, regardless of how you may feel about him being critical. In some ways, he's absolutely right about kneeling, but we're not going to get into that. Major League Baseball. Well, your New York Yankees are in the news again. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. They can't stay out of the news. Chicago White Sox.
Listen, before you rag on them, I would just want you to know that they're leading 3-0 right now. They're playing the Rays in Florida.
Yeah.
And they're leading right now in the 7th inning, 3-0. So there you go. So you can talk all the crap you want. I don't care.
Well, you will care about this story. The Chicago shortstop Tim Anderson says there was no inside joke between he and New York Yankees third baseman Josh Donaldson regarding Donaldson calling Anderson Jackie. Now, for many of you who don't know what happened, they've been, you know, Josh Donaldson, who was a white man, and Tim Anderson, who's a shortstop for the Chicago White Sox, that got into a little scuffle early in the week about him being mocked by calling Jackie, which is referring to the late Jackie Robinson. Now, Anderson, speaking publicly on Tuesday, said for the first time Major League Baseball punished Donaldson for a one-game suspension, said the two haven't had a relationship since the first time he called him Jackie back in 2019. Now, Tim Anderson claims that while Donaldson played for the Minnesota Twins, the two had no contact at all. They had no relationship. They had nothing. There was no friendship at all. But that changed after a hard slide into third base by the shortstop in the game against Chicago between the two teams. The two had words that night, and then again this past weekend in New York, leading to almost a bench clearing brawl. So, but into fairness of Donaldson, he did come forth 2 days ago and today repeatedly that he apologized. He even apologized to Rachel Robinson, who was the wife of the late great Jackie Robinson. He said he didn't mean no harm, nothing was intended. He's sorry that he said these here things, but it was nothing personal. He thought that it wasn't, called for this to happen. But Tim Anderson, who's the black who's the shortstop, said that it was done intentionally, but he apologized. That's all that matters. Is he a racist? I don't know, but reports heard that Donaldson, who's a New York Yankee, of course, said that they say he has a reputation of mixing it up with people. He doesn't get along with a lot of players. This day in sports, May 26, 1925, Babe Ruth is finally out of bed 5 weeks after ulcer surgery. So that was pretty painful. Future Hall of Famer Ty Cobb in 1925 also is the first to collect 1,000 extra base hits. If many of you don't know what is an extra base hit is either a home run, a double, or a triple. That's an extra base hit. Well, he's the first one to collect that. 1946, after going 2 for 42 and hitting .048 mil odd, former baseball player and Hall of Famer stops playing baseball. Decided to call it quits. He couldn't take it anymore. He was declining. In 1990, Philadelphia Phillies retired future Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt, uniform number 20. Birthdays on this date. 1939, Brent Musburger, American sportscaster of CBS Sports, the NFL Today, ESPN, ABC, and the Las Vegas Raiders announcer, born in Portland, Oregon. 1947, Major League Baseball, Darrell Evans was born in Pasadena, California. 1949, NFL quarterback Dan Pastorini was born in Sonora, California. And in 1955, Wesley Walker, NFL wide receiver, was born in San Bernardino, California. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports for the day.
Okay. Now let me see. Checking back, we're still 3-0. The Yankees. So there we go. It's still at the top of the 7th inning. And
okay.
They're playing good baseball. I understand all the teams, they get into their little scrapes and, they behind the scenes things, but right now
they just can't stay out of the news. There's always something, but I'm glad your Yankees are doing well. Congratulations, but they need to stay out the news. You would think George Steinbrenner, may he rest in peace, is still alive. But when George Steinbrenner was alive, they was always fighting among themselves. Billy Martin, George Steinbrenner, Reggie Jackson, they were all fighting, but they were winning now.
They were winning, that's right. They were winning. And that's the way it is. But I'm proud of my boys. I was a Yankee ever since I was 14 years old.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ever since I was 14 years old. And when a true fan is a fan that no matter how they play, if they're down in the dumps, if they're rock bottom and you're still with them, that's a fan.
And that's me as a San Francisco Giant fan. Yes.
Yep. And every once in a while, the teams, they go down in the dumps,
Yes,
that's expected.
absolutely.
But I'm also, again, I'm still also rooting for the Mets on the National League side too, because I understand they're doing pretty well.
No, you can't be a fan of the Yankees.
No. Listen, the reason why I want the Mets, I'm rooting for the Mets, is because I want to see another series, another Subway Series, another World Series.
Okay, well, you're going to have to root for your team first for them to get there.
Of course, that's first, no matter.
And just hope the Mets could do their part as well too.
Yeah, I'm rooting for them for that purpose. I just want the Met fans to know, especially my personal friends who are Met fans. They think that I hate the Mets. I don't hate the Mets. I just love the Yankees. That's all. And I love baseball. But I want them to know that just because I'm rooting for the Mets to get in there, stay on first place in the National League, that doesn't mean anything. I'm a Yankee through and through, and remember that. Remember that.
That's just loyalty. Okay,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on something. I mentioned it earlier on the show, which is probably near to your heart, because we just lost Ray Liotta.
Liotta, yeah.
We just lost.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I found out about that at lunch this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And because thank God for the notifications of news, because I have in my news the CNN app. Yes, I have the CNN app. Okay.
Yeah.
And the news popped up, and I like when I can get that breaking news coming in. This way, I can have something to talk about on the show. And that came in. I was really surprised. They didn't say, what his physical ailment was, if he had a physical ailment. We only know that he died in his sleep in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, he was shooting a movie. I read that earlier today.
Yeah.
I liked him in Goodfellas when that scene that they was in a bar.
Yeah.
And Joe Pesci was telling a joke, and Joe Pesci thought that he was making fun of him, and
can't repeat the dialogue, but everybody that know that movie know what that was.
Yeah. And then of course Robert De Niro was instigating and said, "Are you gonna let him talk that way to you?" And it was so funny. Yeah. But he's a good actor. May he rest in peace. And
in that movie with Whoopi Goldberg, Karina.
Yes.
But I'm gonna miss him. He was a great actor, and he was getting ready to get married for the second time.
Yeah. So sad.
So what do we expect tomorrow?
Tomorrow you will see me tomorrow. I'm not working. I'm working, but I'm not working because I'm cooking. That's part of my job, because the job asked me to make something in the smoker. So 12:30 this afternoon, I put in a 12-pound brisket that won't get done until tomorrow morning. Yes, it was one of those 16 to 18 hour big pieces of meat. I'll make some ribs. So the smoker's on. I had to go to Lowe's Advantage and picked up two 40-pound bags of pellets, wood, and just to put it in the smoker. And I'm just smelling up the backyard. It's smelling so good that the deers are coming out. But luckily,
you do it overnight.
Yeah, low and slow. Yeah, it started at 12:30. When it's certain meats, you got to cook it low and slow to keep it tender. If you cook it at a high temperature, it's gonna be tough to chew. So I cook it at 220, which is very low and very slow, and you inject it with the broth juice. And my goodness, it tastes so good. You want to slap your girlfriend. I mean, that's how good it is and everything. So, oh, my. Yes.
Okay. Okay, sounds good to me. I mean, the meat sounds good.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't slap my girlfriend or my wife. No, nothing like that. No. But that's how good it is, though. It's that tempting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll catch you back here tomorrow morning on the Coffee Hour.
Okay, see you then.
Take care. It's Brian Camp with the latest developments in today's world of sports update. He's here every week at this time. And of course, he'll be here tomorrow morning when we do the coffee hour at 10 a.m. We'll tell you more about that before we go off the air. Thank you, Brian, for that. And that's part of the 2020 feature tomorrow. DJ Pete has part of the 2020, his second part of the 2020 feature, as Brian does 20 after the hour. DJ Pete does 20 to the hour, but DJ Pete will not be here tomorrow. And I am not angry at him because he's gonna be, this guy's gonna be rolling in dough before you know it. He's probably rolling in dough now and not saying anything about it. But anyway, he left us information. He left us his part of the show, and we're gonna cover that for him tomorrow. That's all happening tomorrow morning on the coffee hour. We hope that you will be here too. In the meantime, you're with us, and we thank you for being with us. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. And if you're here for the very first time, thank you so much for being with us. Don't make it your last time. Come here every week. Make it your weekly habit. And we're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So check your clocks on that one. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, it's about that time, right? This day in history. Here we go. You know, pray for me on this one. On this day in history, in 1924, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge signs immigration law restricting immigrations. On this day in history, in 1927, Henry Ford and the Ford Motor Company produced the last 15th million Model T Ford. That's the T Ford Tin Lizzie. That was back in 1927. Remember? I don't. On this day in history, 1930, the Supreme Court rules buying liquor does not violate the Constitution, and it doesn't today either, right? Okay. On this day in history, in 1941, German occupiers began youth labor. On this day in 1943, Prime Minister Winston Churchill and General Marshall fly from US to North Africa. On this day in history, 1948, South Africa elects a nationalist government under D.F. Allan with an apartheid policy. On this day in history, in 1955, Nikita Khrushchev arrives in Belgrade. On this day in history, 1963, the 15th Emmy Awards. The Dick Van Dyke Show, E.G. Marshall and Shirley Booth, they win that title. Back in 1967, EMI released Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, that was by the Beatles a few days early in the UK. And it would go on to #1 for 15 weeks in the US and 22 weeks in the UK. And back in 1975, Rhinestone Cowboy, the single released by Glenn Campbell, makes Billboard Song of the Year. In 1977, George Willing climbs the South Tower. I remember this very well. The South Tower of New York City World Trade Center, famously fined 1 cent. He was fined 1 cent for each of the 110 stories he climbed. Okay, how many cents is that? That's not a lot of money. I can pay that out of my pocket too. Okay, in 1978, the first legal gambling casino opens in Atlantic City. In 1979, you have the Dancing Fool by Frank Zappa that hits #45. In 1984, US President Ronald Reagan rules out US military intervention in Iraq War. In 1989, American radio broadcasters go silent for 30 seconds at 7:42 a.m. to honor the radio industry. I wasn't on the air that day, so I don't remember that. I wasn't on the air, so I don't remember, silencing myself for 30 seconds, but that's what they did. 1989, Danish Parliament allows same-sex marriage. Back in 1989, that happened. In 1993, the Emmy 20th Daytime Emmy Award presentation, Susan Lucci loses for the 14th time. In 2004, the United States Army veteran Terry Nichols is found guilty of 161 state murder charges for helping carry out the Oklahoma bombing, the Oklahoma City bombing. 2004, the 39th Academy of Country Music goes to Toby Keith and Martina McBride. Al Jolson, remember Al Jolson? Al Jolson was born on this day in 1886, and he was born in Kovno. He was born in Kovno, and he died October 23rd, 1950, and he was 64 years old when he passed away. Happy birthday to John Wayne, wherever you are. He was born on this day in 1907, and he was born in Winterset, Iowa. He passed away June 11, 1979, at the age of 72 from stomach cancer. Peggy Lee, one of my favorite singers. The late Peggy Lee was born on this day in 1920. She was born in Jamestown, North Dakota. She died January 21st, 2002, at the age of 81, and she died from complications of diabetes and a heart attack. Trumpeter Miles Davis, Wild Miles Davis, that's what we used to call him. Wild Miles Davis was born on this day in 1926, and he was born in Alton, Illinois, and he died September 28, 1991, at the age of 65 from pneumonia. In 1948, Stephanie, we call her Stephanie, her real name is Stephanie, but everyone knows her as Stevie Nicks, the rocker from the Fleetwood Mac group, singer and songwriter. She was born in Phoenix, Arizona, so happy birthday, Stephanie, or Stevie Nicks. Hank Williams Jr. was born on this day in 1949. He was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, and he's 73 today. Happy birthday. 1949, actress Pam Grier, oh, one of my favorites. One of my all-around favorites for many ways. Pam Grier was born in Salem, North Carolina. She's 73 today. Happy birthday. She doesn't look a day over 37. Okay, and in 1962, actress Jeannie Francis from General Hospital was born in Englewood, New Jersey. You remember Jeannie Francis? She's still on the General Hospital staff right now. She's still with them. You remember her, she goes way back a long time ago. She was Laura. She played Luke and Laura. She was Laura. That's Jeannie Francis. Happy birthday, Jeannie Francis. Lenny Kravitz was born on this day in 1964 in New York City. He's 58 today. Lenny Kravitz, as you know, is the son of the late actress Roxy Roca, who played Helen on The Jeffersons. And Lauryn Hill was born on this day. Singer Lauryn Hill was born on this day in 1975 in East Orange, New Jersey. She's 47 today. Happy birthday. Actress Annette Bening wedged J. Stephen White back in 1984. In 1994, the American king of pop, Michael Jackson, weds Elvis's daughter, Lisa Marie Presley, in the Dominican Republic. Back in 1995, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry weds Teresa Hines in Massachusetts. In 1996, Seinfeld, the actor-comedian Wayne Knight, that's the one that played in Seinfeld, Wayne Knight, weds makeup artist Paula Suter. And they wed together in South Palisade, California. 1977, William Powell, R&B singer of the OJs, dies at that age, 1977. He dies from cancer. He was only 35 years old. Actor Eddie Albert, the legendary actor, would have been died at the age of 99 back in 2005, May on this day. He died from pneumonia. He was born April 22nd, 2006, and he was born in Rock Island, Illinois. Film director, producer, and actor Sidney Pollack died on this day in 2008. He was 73 years old, and of course, he died from cancer. He was born July 1st, 1934, and he was born in Lafayette, Indiana. And finally, 2010, Art Linkletter. Art Linkletter, a lot of you young people may not know who he is. He goes back a long time ago. He's Canadian. He's a Canadian American radio and TV personality. He died 2010, and Art Linkletter had that show a long time ago called Kids Do the Darndest Things. I know Bill Cosby did his version of that, but back in the 50s, he did that show. But he passed away in 1912. Well, that's when he was born, but he passed away 2010. And so that's what it is. That's this day in history. And all of you who are watching right now, if you happen to know anything that's happening in history on this day that I didn't mention that maybe you know about, of course, I am so happy to have you tell me about it. All you have to do is let me know, type it out on the big screen and let me know all about it. Okay, just joining us. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. Frank Allen here with you, and I will be here for the next few minutes. If you're just joining us for the first time, thank you. But keep continuing to come back. It's coming up to 14 minutes to the hour. Coming up 14 minutes to the hour, and we're going to be with you. So I just want to say hi to all you guys who are popping in, just to say hi over there on Facebook, YouTube, all of you guys on Instagram. Thank you so much. Anybody hungry? Anyone hungry? I have some jelly beans. Anybody want jelly beans? Take your best flavor. Take your shot. Anyone? They're on me. I don't mind if I do. I don't mind if I do. Hit the sweet tooth every now and then. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to get back. Later on, not too far away, let me give you that information about the movies, right? Movies, I have that for you, just a few. I only have one, but it'll give me time to talk about and retract back what Brian and I were talking about earlier about what's going on in Texas. And the situation is in Uvalde, Texas. In Uvalde, Texas, as you already know, at Robb Elementary School. Robb Elementary School, as you already know, just in case you're just joining us, we talked about it earlier, me and Brian, but 19 children were killed. 19 children and 2 teachers were killed in that incident. Now, that's too many people. That's just too many people. And the shooter, Salvador Ramos, before he went on that spree, on that shooting spree, he shot his grandmother, who was 66 years old. Why did he do that? I don't know. I don't know what one had to do with the other. He shot her in the face. She was 66 years, well, I don't know, that's past tense. She's still alive. They're expecting her to live. She survived it. They say that she's critical, but in stable condition right now. 66 years old, Salvador Ramos. And then he goes to the school, and I understand that there was a door that was already open. He got in there very easily. You know, there was a door that was already open. He got in there very easily, and he shot up these people. Now, these kids, these 19 kids and these 2 teachers were all in the same room at the same time when this went on. He barricaded himself into the room and shot them all. You know, and you know, that when this situation happened, when the news came around, and I remember I was watching General Hospital. I mentioned General Hospital. I was watching General Hospital, and just before, it was just seconds before it was supposed to go off the air, just before it went off the air, breaking news came in. ABC came in with the breaking news. Now, when I hear that theme song, ABC Breaking News, I get butterflies in my stomach, because now I'm saying, okay, what's going on now? What's happening now? You know, it's just like, it's this thing that I have now. Every time I hear breaking news, I automatically cringe. You know, because I'm saying, okay, what happened now? Because there's always one thing after the other. And that's when they came up with this news. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it affected me deeply. It got to the point where I started getting the shakes. I couldn't eat. I couldn't even nap. And that's how much it affected me, because I know a lot of people, and you don't even have to be a parent. A lot of people who are parents, they look at this and they're nervous. I'm nervous. And they look at, some of these parents have kids young enough to go to schools. And these kids that were killed, they were mostly 9 and 10 years old kids. And of course, parents are thinking right now, they're thinking, I have a kid that's going to school. What's going to happen? I take my kid to school. What's going to happen? How can I be sure that my kid is going to be safe in school? Now, years ago, when I was in school, that was a long time ago. Years ago, schools were a safe haven for children. When your parents dropped you off from school, they rest assured that you were going to be safe, No harm was going to come to you, because the teachers were responsible. They took care of you. They scold you as well, because they were your parents when your parents weren't around. And if you got out of line, they reported to your parents. School was a safe haven. School is no longer a safe haven. God, you can't even go to church. That's not even a safe haven. That's supposed to be sacred. That's supposed to be a safe haven. When you go to a school, when you go to a synagogue, when you go to a church, they're supposed to be safe havens. And now people are thinking twice, And don't think, ladies and gentlemen, because you send your kid to a private school, that it won't affect you as well. You got crazy people out here. They're doing this. They're going out here and they're moving around and they're plotting it. And a lot of this is premeditative. A lot of people are going out, and this kid, Salvador Ramos, he thought about this very well before he did it. I mean, there were issues. He went online, talked to his friends, and he wanted to shoot up. And this guy was a member of that community. He went to high school in that same community. Now, I'm pretty sure Texas, Uvalde, Texas, I'm pretty sure that's small. The population is small, and Texas, the state of Texas is big, but that's just like a small portion of Texas. Uvalde, Texas, small portion, so small that everyone knows each other. You get situations where you have small towns, small areas, where it's so small that people know each other to the point where they know each other's business. Any event, this went on, and it's a sad thing. And if you haven't seen the videos, if you haven't seen these parents get on the air as they're being interviewed, and it doesn't hit you, you don't have to shed a tear, but if it doesn't hit you or give you a punch somewhere in the gut that you don't feel anything, then there's something wrong. And I was watching wrestling last night, and one of my favorite wrestling announcers, Jim Ross, we call him good old JR. I don't know if he's a Texan or not, but he wears that cowboy hat all the time. He looks like he's a Texan. But he took that time in his show, in between matches, took that little bit of time and acknowledged this. And he said something like, something's got to change. Something's got to stop. That's how he put it. Something's got to stop. And then he said that twice. And then he said, and you can do it. And he's right, because I've been saying that all along. It stops. Do you realize all of this, the buck stops with us, the American people? We are the people that can control this. Instead of, like, we talk about the politicians, you've got all of these politicians there. Hey, and where the hell is the Ted Cruz? Now, he's a senator of that state, is he not? And, he blah, 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 blah. And that's all you hear, But anyway, folks, Brian mentioned it, and I mentioned it too. I think it's time for a change. And here's something that Brian didn't say that I'm going to say. I think that people had voted in the primaries for 2022 already. They did that, all right? And I think we need new blood in politics. Everybody's old. And I do agree with Brian on this one thing, that Biden, although he said he may run, but he didn't confirm that, he's going to be a one-term president, And I think these past people, these people who are present now, they should move over, put some new blood in there. These people are like 80 years old, upper 70s, 80 years old. You know, as you get older, you know, not that you can't think, but your thinking is a little slow. And sometimes you do things on impulse, which when you hold an office, you don't do things on impulse. You got to think about these things, you know. I think new blood should come in, whether it is on the Democratic side and on the Republican side, and revive these parties, because this is not the Republican Party. This is not the Democratic Party, not the parties I know. This is not it, you know. So, and I looked and I saw this guy, his daughter. He cried on the air and he said, you know, how could they shoot my daughter? How could they shoot my baby? You know, what did she do to deserve that? What did she do? She didn't do anything. Her only crime was going to school and studying. I wish I could talk more about this. I'm running out of time, but I will do more on the coffee hour. We just got to pray for these people, try to understand. But I will leave you with this. When you vote in 2022, watch who you vote for. When you vote for the presidency in 2024, watch who you vote for. That's how we take care of the people. That's how we can stop this. Get all of those people who don't care, get them out and put new blood in there, someone that does care. Okay, we've got movies. I only have one this week, all right? Turner Classic Movies, those of you who like Turner Classic Movies, we have those for you. We have my picks for the week, for the weekend. And those of you who are going to be, of course, celebrating, of course, you'll be celebrating Memorial Day, long extended weekend. I only have one movie this week. And this movie is from 1953. It's called, and I think you know it, and I think you love it, it's called From Here to Eternity. I love this movie, starring Burt Lancaster and Montgomery Clift, along with Deborah Carr. And of course, Frank Sinatra's in it as well. You can see it on Turner Classic Movies that's coming up. And that will happen on Turner Classic Movies. I believe that's Sunday. Is that Saturday, Sunday? I believe that's Sunday. I'm going to have to double check on that because my producer didn't put the day in here. All right. But I will, you know, announce it again tomorrow. I'll have to do the actual date for you, but I believe it's Sunday. But in any event, it's at 8 p.m. Check Sunday or Saturday or even Friday, because I usually take movies start from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I believe it's Saturday. I believe it's Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern, From Here to Eternity. And that's what we have. And those of you too who want to see more, go to Turner Classic Movies and you can check out more. There are more movies there. That was just my pick of the for the week. And I'm pretty sure there are other movies on Turner Classic Movies that you might enjoy. And you can just go to Turner Classic Movies, scroll down, go through it, and go through the guide, and you can check out other movies. Also, you could also go online and check them out on demand. You have movies on demand too. A lot of movies there. There's a lot of things to be had. Movies on demand, all the networks is there. You can check it out. Okay, please do that. That's going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I had a good time. I hope you have too. Thank you so much for being along with us. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the coffee hour. We'll do this all over again. Brian Kemp will be with me with this part of the 2020 feature. with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update, 20 after the hour, 20 to the hour. DJ Pete arrives. Well, he won't be here, but we will be filling in for him. It's 22 the hour with his part of the 2020 feature, which he has entertainment, news, and reciting all of those birthdays of people of notoriety. We have all of that information that he sent us. That's what he does. So ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a wonderful morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale, technical assistance Dave Taylor, research by Sandy Pierce, and I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.